Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. It's Virgin Islands Puerto Rico Friendship Day, and Governor Kenneth Mapp encouraged residents to join in celebrating the territory's long-standing relationship with its neighbors in Puerto Rico. He said this year, Virgin Islands Puerto Rico Friendship holds a special significance given that we are each facing recovery from some of the most devastating hurricanes in modern history. Emerito Torres Jr., president of the VIPR Friendship Committee, said this year's 53rd anniversary said that the celebration was abbreviated but meaningful. News 2 Stephanie Brown reports.
Usually, the territory commemorates the strong history between Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands in a 4-day celebration called VI Puerto Rican Friendship Day. But due to the devastation caused by both Hurricane Irma and Maria, which both American territories share a commonality, the yearly celebration was shrunken to a 1-day activity. The president of the Virgin Islands Puerto Rican Friendship Committee was sad that planned activities were canceled, but he was happy to provide some relief for residents today.
Since the two territories were affected, and we came together with a band from St. Croix, a band from Puerto Rico, and also another local band from St. Thomas and St. Croix, just to come together and have fun, for at least for a day, and forget about all that stress.
As the production and manufacturing of sugarcane in Puerto Rico collapsed in the 1930s, many workers from the cane industry relocated to the Virgin Islands to seek work, and further, a second wave of Puerto Rico's migration by way of the small island of Vieques moved to the Virgin Islands, especially on St. Croix in 1941, amidst World War II, when the U.S. Navy seized 2/3 of Vieques to be used as an extension to the nearby naval station, further crippling the agriculture industry on the island. Both Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands are the only two American territories in the Atlantic Ocean, and most recently, President Trump met with both the territories' governors on a naval ship.
You know, we celebrate a holiday, a legal holiday in the U.S. Virgin Islands called Puerto Rican Virgin Islands Friendship Day. It's in October. So we look forward to having our celebration this year and have you come over and meet your friends and all of the folks that love you in the Virgin Islands.
For News 2, I'm Stephanie Shalana Brown.
Now, the vice president, after a visit to Puerto Rico, arrived in the U.S. Virgin Islands on Friday to witness the impact of the recent hurricanes on the territory and the various recovery efforts that are underway. The governor announced that he has begun the process of reaching out to the U.S. Congress, seeking authorization of a special community disaster loan for the USVI and additional funds to fix infrastructure, hospitals, schools, police and fire stations, government buildings, as well as expanding the underground power distribution system. Vice President Pence praised Governor Mapp's leadership and said that Virgin Islanders had demonstrated the incredible resilience and a can-do spirit. He said that the White House is committed to assisting in rebuilding the USVI bigger and better in the wake of 2 devastating hurricanes. Governor Kenneth Mapp welcomed Vice President Pence, his wife Karen, and other cabinet members, including Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao, to St. Croix prior to an official briefing at the Henry E. Rolson Airport. The governor, Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett, representatives of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, and other federal officials updated the vice president on the territory's recovery efforts. Following the briefing and 2 stops on St. Croix, the governor joined the vice president for a helicopter tour of the damage caused by Hurricanes Irma and Maria. Governor Mapp said the vice president paid close attention to the damage he saw on the ground. Governor Mapp said, "I was very gratified by the level of interest he took." Vice President Pence said he was impressed by the efforts of the governor and his team and by the resiliency and can-do attitude. He said, "We want to thank you for your leadership and the leadership of your entire team." Vice President Pence told the governor, "My wife, Karen, and I are honored to be with you. We wanted to be here with you in the USVI to say very plainly and simply, we are with you today, we will be with you tomorrow, and we will be with you every day until the U.S. Virgin Islands comes all the way back. That is our pledge to each and every one of you." Governor Mapp said the assistance of the federal government has made it possible for schools to plan reopening and the private sector to get back on its feet just 2 weeks after Hurricane Maria and 30 days after Hurricane Irma. Following the airport briefing, the governor traveled with the vice president to visit the Holy Cross Episcopal Church, where he was received by parishioners and members of the local clergy. Prayers were offered, and the officials surveyed the damage to the church and neighboring areas. The vice president and the governor then visited the shelter at the St. Croix Educational Complex High School, where, according to American Red Cross shelter manager Anita Roberts, more than 200 people are now housed, and more were expected Friday with the closure of the Canegata shelter. The vice president and the federal delegation left the territory following the afternoon's helicopter tour. While Delegate Stacey Plaskett continued to hit the media airwaves, she appeared on the AM Joy show on MSNBC earlier last week discussing the delays in the recovery efforts in the VI. And she was part of that delegation that met with Vice President Pence. And here's more from that meeting.
I wanted us to be here in the U.S. Virgin Islands to say very plainly and simply, we are with you today, we will be with you tomorrow, we will be with you every day until the U.S. Virgin Islands comes all the way back. That's our pledge to each and every one. I'm honored to be joined by people that have been making this happen, particularly proud members of the military who are with us today. Your Adjutant General, General Howell, we want to commend the Virgin Islands National Guard for your efforts. It's extraordinary for me to think of citizen soldiers, many of whom lost their own home, families in dire circumstances who nevertheless put on the uniform and stepped into the gap, been there for families that have made a difference over much of the last 2 weeks in the lives of people across the U.S. Virgin Islands. I'm also very proud to see that at this moment, I am told that how many states are there, General? There are 25 American states have provided support to the National Guard, including we're joined today by the Tennessee National Guard, the Vermont National Guard, and the Missouri National Guard, part of this Air Wing, Air Assets. Let's give them a big round of applause. We're awfully proud. And we're here in force because we want to get a report in the time that we have here in the hangar before we have a chance to greet more of those that are present. I look forward very much to a briefing from our team on the ground here, Admiral Peter Brown, Colonel Scott Houseman, and Bill Vogel. We are awfully proud of FEMA and the job that FEMA has been doing on the ground, and I'm told that Bill Vogel, you just call him Big Bill. Where did he go? Good job. Thank you, Bill. Good job on the ground. And of course, I want to thank your delegate, Stacey Plaskett, who has been a great champion in Washington, D.C. for the U.S. Virgin Islands, and our administration continues to look forward to work closely with you to make sure that every need is met. So thank you, Stacey, for your leadership.
Well, the Virgin Islands Department of Education, St. Thomas St. John District, will be opening its 2017-2018 school year on Tuesday, October 10th. Due to some facilities requiring some extensive repair work, only 10 schools will be ready to receive students on Tuesday. However, by October 16th, all schools are declared operational in the district, and that will be open for instruction. While all schools have sustained hurricane-related damage, the department has condemned two: the Adelita Cancrine Junior High and the Emmanuel Benjamin Oliver Elementary Schools. The Gladys Abraham Elementary School, although not condemned, will not be operational this school year. Therefore, schools in the district will assume regular and split session schedules. The district's curriculum center and receiving warehouse were severely damaged during the hurricane, and the industrial freezer, which housed frozen foods for the school lunch program, was also destroyed. The department has secured refrigerated containers that will store frozen foods as a replenishment supply arrives to the district. Abbreviated meals will be served during the first week of school. For breakfast, students can expect tuna and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Meals ready to eat, MREs, from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, will be provided for lunch. Students are welcome to bring their own lunch. Emergency drinking water will also be provided. Hot meals will begin on October 16. Results of a test drive conducted by the Water and Power Authority, the Department of Public Works, School Bus Inc., and the district's Pupil Transportation Division determined that the normal school bus routes can and will remain the same. Buses will begin traveling on their scheduled routes for the morning and regular session schools at 6:15 a.m. Those schools include BCB Middle School, Ivana Udorican, Alla F. Muller Elementary, Leonard Dober Elementary, Lockhart Elementary, Yvonne Milliner-Bowski, and Adelita Cancrine Junior High. Buses will begin pickup of the students attending afternoon session schools at 10:15 a.m. These schools are Gladys Abraham, E. Benjamin Oliver Elementary, Charlotte Amalie High School, and additional buses will be added to pick up students at Curran Terrace, Estate Tutu, and Hidden Valley. The St. Croix District has set a tentative start date for October 16, 2017. Similar to the St. Thomas St. John District, some schools will resume instruction before others. The 2017-2018 school year began in the district on Tuesday, September 12, prior to Hurricane Maria's landfall on the territory. The Arthur A. Richards Junior High School has since been condemned, with significant damages reported at many of the schools. Here's Sarah Burke, who shares this message for the Spanish-speaking community.
Con el noticiero del Departamento de Educación de las Islas Virgen nos notifica que el año escolar para el 2017-2018 empezará el martes, octubre 10. Aquí le voy a dar informe sobre las clases, las escuelas, a qué horas empiezan y a qué horas terminan. Empezaremos octubre 10, el martes, con la escuela Leonard Dober Elementary School. Esas clases empiezan a las 7:45 y terminarán a las 2:45. Semejante para la escuela Jenny Tuitt Primary School, que queda en la Marqueta, lo cual empieza a las 7:50 y terminará a las 2:35. La escuela Joseph Sibley Elementary School, las clases empezarán a las 7:50 y terminarán a las 2:30. Adelita Cancrine Junior High School, pongan atención a los alumnos que están en grado 7. Tienen que reportarse a la Escuela Superior Charlotte Amalie High School el martes a las 8 de la mañana en el auditorium para su orientación. Como puedes saber, esa escuela fue destruida durante el huracán y todos los alumnos van a ser transferidos para compartir clases en la Escuela Superior Charlotte Amalie High School. Vuelvo y repito, a los alumnos que atendían a Adelita Cancrine Junior High School tienen que reportarse a la Escuela Superior Charlotte Amalie High School. Grado 7 a las 8 de la mañana y grado 8 se tienen que reportar a las 10 de la mañana. Seguimos informándole. A los alumnos que atienden a Charlotte Amalie High School, la Escuela Superior, tienen que reportarse a las 12 porque están compartiendo también cupo con los alumnos de Adelita Cancrine Junior High School. A los alumnos que atienden a la escuela Bertha Sipa Shelter Middle School tienen que reportarse a las 7:25 a.m. y las clases terminan a las 2:25. Para los alumnos que atendían Edith Williams Alternative Academy, aquí dice indicado que tienen que reportarse a las 8 y terminan a las clases a las 3:10. Los alumnos que asisten clases en el Ralph O. Whitley Skills Center, ellos están funcionando y empiezan mañana a las 8 y terminarán a las 3. Igualmente, para Day Adult, ese programa empieza a las 8 y terminará a las 3. Todavía estamos esperando con información para la escuela Lockhart, pero aquí dice indicado en la información que compartió el Departamento de Educación con nosotros que la escuela Ivana Udorican High School empezará sus clases en octubre 12. Les seguiremos informando. Semejante con la escuela Julius E. Sproul, que está supuesta a empezar el 16, de kindergarten al grado 5, empezarán a las 8 de la mañana y terminarán a las 12. Tan semejante en la escuela Julius Sproul, grado 6 al 8, empezará el día 16 y empiezas las clases a las 11 y terminarán a las 4 en St. John. La escuela Oliver F. Muller Elementary School también nos informa que empezarán el día 16 y sus clases empiezan a las 7 de la mañana y terminarán a las 12. Gladys Abraham, los alumnos de Gladys Abraham, por mi entendido, están ahora compartiendo cupo con la escuela Aleph Muller y ellos empezarán a las 11:15 de la mañana el día 16 y terminarán a las 4:30. La escuela Lockhart School también en esta lista que nos informa empezarán octubre 16 y sus clases empezarán a las 8 de la mañana y terminarán a las 2:45. El abre de la escuela Ivan Bowski Elementary School estará combinada con la escuela y Benjamin Oliver Elementary School y todavía esos anuncios vienen. Aquí les compartir el itinerario del abierto de las escuelas en el distrito de San Tomás y San John. Le quiero desear un buen año escolar para todos los alumnos que regresan con su actitud positiva y hambre para el aprendizaje. También hoy celebramos aquí en la Isla Vírgenes el Día de la Amistad entre nuestra isla, Puerto Rico, la Isla del Encanto y la Isla Virgen. Una amistad que ahora fortalecida mucho más fuerte con las circunstancias de que los dos estamos sufriendo por el huracán Irma y María. Pero la unión hay fuerza y nuestra amistad es para siempre. Happy VI Puerto Rican Friendship Day. Esta es su servidora, Sarah Berg. Pásenla bien. Chao.
Thanks for that, Sarah. Well, as we shared earlier, Vice President Mike Pence visited Puerto Rico on Friday and received a briefing on the island's struggles to recover in the wake of Hurricane Maria and Irma. Pence was asked if it was appropriate for the president to be critical of the mayor of San Juan. The vice president said he thought President Trump and the Governor Roseo, have been completely focused on the needs of the people of Puerto Rico. Here's more.
Mike Pence arrived in Puerto Rico just about a week after President Donald Trump did the same, and the frustrations here among Puerto Ricans are still very fresh in their minds. It was the images of the president tossing out paper towels to those who desperately needed resources that was so insulting here to many on this island, and if that wasn't enough, it was what he said, comparing this disaster to, quote, a real catastrophe like Katrina that really especially angered those individuals who weren't angered already. If those frustrations weren't clear enough, if what we saw in our trips outside of San Juan made it very evident. A woman stopped our news crew to tell us that the federal government, not only have they not done anything, but not even the local government has been to her municipality. People are tired of complaining, they're tired of waiting, and they're beginning to take matters into their own hands. And oftentimes, and what we've seen with our own eyes, is removing debris from their own streets rather than wait for a local official to do it for them. The power grid is still a mess here. Just about 10% have access to the national grid. Incremental progress is being made, but it's not fast enough. The devastation seems to be never ending, and the deaths are still going. We heard of one man that died earlier today while removing some of his debris. The damage here and the devastation still ongoing. Nick Valencia, CNN, San Juan, Puerto Rico.
In keeping our eye on the economy, let's take a look at the stock market watch at the New York Stock Exchange. According to the numbers, we can see everything down. The Dow down, NASDAQ 10, Dow 12, S&P 500 down 4. Coming up on News 2, the members of the VI legislature react, give an update on what's happening at the Senate, and also what's the buzz at VIA. We have all of that coming up next. Welcome back. Members of the VI legislature, Senators Marvin Blyden and Senate President Myron Jackson, share an update following the passage of the hurricane. Here's more.
And the recovery is going to take us years. And the legislature has rebounded, and we will begin our due diligence and operations. Actually, as far as I'm concerned, we've been up and running right after Hurricane Irma and Hurricane Maria with all the interruptions and the challenges. So early this month in October, we'll have our committee of the whole, and then following that, we'll have our first session in October. And of course, the governor has already stated that he would like the legislature to address the financial woes of the territory. And also we have our health insurance package for the employees of our government to also address.
I want to believe that many folks did not know that we were part of the United States. Many folks. First of all. Secondly, I do not believe we have the type of representation in terms of mobilizing in the United States when it comes to our sister island in Puerto Rico. They have over 4 million, 3.5 million people in Puerto Rico. So, and they have a way larger population in the United States of their people, so they can go to their representative and advocate on their behalf. And that's why they got way more attention to me than us in the territory of just 110,000 people, you know. And I do not know if it's because that people feel that 110 is not much, a larger number than 3.5 million people, you know. I do not know the reason why we did not get the type of coverage like we should, because we were hit with 2 Cat 5 hurricanes. 2. Puerto Rico was hit with 1, which was Maria. So you need to understand the dynamics of what is going on, and I really do not have an answer for that, but I must say our delegate have been doing her part, our governor has been doing his part, and we as senators have been reaching out to our contacts in the United States and our network of individuals and trying to get interviews and get the message out that we are here. Please do not forget about us. We are part of the United States. We have been hit with 2 Cat 5 hurricanes, and we need help also.
Well, here's an update from VIA. The lobby was filled Thursday, Friday, and even today, Monday, even though a holiday, at the VIA business office. VIA customer service was busy. Here's more, an update on VIA from CEO Alvaro Piral.
Take this, you put it outside your window. If you want, you can put it inside a Ziploc bag. You turn it on, and this gives you Wi-Fi on the whole area. So you can be at home, inside the home, and you put this outside. What we're trying to tell people is try to put the antenna on a place that faces the mountain. Why? Because 80% of the time, the antenna that serves you is in the mountain, okay? There's exceptions. Like, for example, we have a cell site that's inside UBI. UBI is not in the mountain, it's down next to the airport. But most of the cases, if you face the mountain, you will see one of our sites, okay? So if you put this outside, you can cover it with a Ziploc bag so it won't get wet, but it will give you the power, it will give you a Wi-Fi signal inside the house, and you're gonna be able to use it, okay? And one of the things that it's like the goal for everybody and one of our employees' purpose here is that we are key to bring normalcy, you know, to people. And part of normalcy is being able to get into the internet, watch a movie, get into the internet, read the news, get into the internet, send an email. It's not the perfect service. We have a lot of work to be done, but it's something that is going to help everybody to feel normal again. It's just as important as getting water, or as important as drinking a cold cup of water.
We'll have more update from VIA this week. Now, WAPO restoration crews, they ended work around 12 noon on Friday to allow personnel to attend the viewing of their co-worker, Jason Julius, who died in the line of duty on September 12th. Funeral services for Jason Julius were held on Saturday, October 7th. And we send condolences to the family on behalf of all of us here at NEWS2. Meanwhile, restoration work by WAPA crews resumed today. Here's an update on the restoration efforts from the VI Water and Power Authority with John Grillo.
In addition to crews from Hogland Energy, off-island crews from BBC Electric Services, Inc. of Missouri, along with Northeast Public Power Association, are expected on island by mid-October to augment WAPA's restoration efforts in both districts. The companies are providing additional manpower, equipment, and supply inventory to facilitate WAPA's restoration. Crews from the three off-island contractors will be equally divided between the St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix districts. WAPA continues to work jointly with VIA, with the VI Waste Management Authority, and with the Department of Public Works on a cleanup initiative across the territory, and the authority is also working alongside the Virgin Islands Next Generation Network, VINGN.
The U.S. Small Business Administration, they announced that certain private nonprofit organizations, PNP, in the U.S. Virgin Islands that do not provide critical services of a government nature may be eligible to apply for low interest rate disaster loans. And this is the message here from Vitima. PNP is located on St. Croix, St. John, and St. Thomas in the USVI are eligible to apply. Examples of eligible non-critical PNP organizations include, but are not limited to, food kitchens, homeless shelters, museums, libraries, community centers, schools, and colleges. PNP organizations may borrow up to $2 million to repair or replace damaged or destroyed real estate, machinery and equipment, inventory, and other business assets. The SBA also offers economic injury disaster loans to help meet working capital needs, such as ongoing operating expenses to PNP organizations. Economic injury disaster loan assistance is available regardless of whether the organization suffered any physical property damage. Applicants may apply online using the electronic loan application via SBA's secure website at disasterloan.sba.gov. That's disasterloan.sba.gov. While the St. Thomas and St. John office of the Bureau of Motor Vehicles suffered some severe storm damage as a result of the hurricanes. This message comes from Director Lawrence Olive. He noted that the office on St. John is in much better shape, but currently lacks the infrastructure necessary to provide services. Olive said that the BMV is unable to provide driver's licenses, to process driver's licenses at this time, and that the BMV, the information technology, was working to restore the BMV computer system. He said he advised the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators about the severity of the damage to the offices, and he's been requested that they assist Virgin Islanders who may be relocating to other states with a recently expired license. He said the local law enforcement is also obviously aware of the problems. The St. Croix office at the Patrick Sweeney Complex will be open from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. beginning Tuesday, October 10th, with the goal of processing 40 registrations per day. Vehicle registrations and transfers can be processed without the online system. Olive said only cash payments can be taken until internet service is restored. The St. Thomas facilities and sub-base suffered the worst damage. He said, "We are working to clean up and repair a section of the building that we can operate from temporarily." He said, "We expect to make an announcement next week." Phone service is also currently down at all 3 BMV offices. National Hurricane Center is emitting advisories on newly formed tropical storm Ophelia. Now, this storm is not a threat for the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico area. This message comes to us from our local forecaster, Hector Cintron. Thank you for that update, but be sure to stick around. Your News to AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
Well, we have some showers and thunderstorms generally pushing away to the west. The most widespread rain, the greatest flood threat is going to be winding down across Puerto Rico, and we are looking forward to some drier weather. We could use a bit of a break here. It's been a rough 6-week stretch for us. Meanwhile, that mess of clouds swirling near the Yucatan Peninsula is a tropical storm named Nate that's going to impact the south central U.S. and parts of especially the Gulf Coast of the U.S. Meanwhile, when we look at the more local scale, there's a tropical disturbance pushing away to the west. Most of the action is to the west of the U.S. Virgin Islands now. There's also a lot of rain to our north, but that's a few hundred miles away. So we do still see a few showers this evening and tonight. We don't expect them to be as heavy as they were, say, a day or two ago. And the flood threat is beginning to drop a bit even into Puerto Rico. Into St. John, tomorrow's forecast, maybe a little cooler, 86, still a shower or two out there. And St. Thomas, 86. We'll see a shower or two there as well. Let's head south into St. Croix, maybe a degree warmer with a fleeting shower or two as the recovery continues. Looking at the marine forecast, we still have some 3 to 6 footers out there on the Atlantic side. Wind southeast, becoming more of an east wind tomorrow at 5 to 10 knots. And for the Caribbean, same general story, southeast wind becoming more of an east wind. And the waves are just a little bit smaller, 3 to 5 footers there. Not much of a change, though. And as we look at the extended forecast, we are thankfully not seeing any additional tropical threats in view at this point. We're not expecting any new tropical storms or hurricanes to impact us directly. There's another area of disturbed weather over the east central Atlantic, but it's way northeast of us, and it's something that's about as close as it is to Europe as it is to the U.S. Virgin Islands. We do not expect to see any direct impacts from that. Again, Nate's going to stay away, impacting the continental U.S., but not the Virgin Islands. Spotty showers, mid-80s. Back to you, Sandy.
Thank you for that update. Time for our News to Weather picture there by Cecilia Camacho of Ricardo Richards Elementary School, sharing some sunshine and clouds and raindrops, pretty much what we've been experiencing, but still making some time for some fishing there, Cecilia. Thanks for your picture. Send us your News to Weather picture to the address right there on the screen, and then tune in to see it right here on News 2. Well, that is all for this edition. We leave you with the beautiful voice of Kendra Young, who touched everyone as she sang an inspirational song at one of the distribution sites on St. Croix. I'm Sandra Gumansing. On behalf of all of us, have a wonderful evening, and be sure to follow us on Facebook and YouTube.
God is just a prayer away. All you have to do is call. He will hear your faintest cry. He is concerned about you. So while your tears are flowing through this time of hurting, He will lift your heavy heart, 'cause He's in love with you. He knows, He cares.